Say an amazing day yesterday. We had so many TPs. So, if you guys can do me a massive favor, like I said, just make sure that you guys do share a picture into the levels chat, just telling people that the call is live. Obviously, I know a few people are flying out to Nice as well. But yeah, welcome to your daily market outlook. It's the 29th of May. It's a Thursday, so this is the last one of the week. Let me know in the chats how everyone's getting on, and we will get straight into the charts. Yesterday, we literally just smashed the hell out of the charts from this call. Michaela smashed it, Robbie smashed it. We had so many people, call out what I can see, which is amazing. So I'm proud of you guys as well. But yeah, if you can, let me know how you guys got on, if possible. And again, when I say how you guys got on, if you guys marked up charts and it hit TP, that's a win. If you guys marked up charts and it, was on a demo account and it hit a break even or a win, whatever, that's still, a massive win. It's not just about making thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. But okay, getting into today, Thursday the 29th, we have unemployment claims 8:30 a.m. And then what else have we got? GP news, red folder news at around 3 p.m. That's pretty much it in regards to the news today. So yeah, unemployment claims, which is what already been, so 8:30. No, pretty much very, very soon. So yeah, let's get into the charts to see what we can analyze, and then we'll cover, yesterday's as well. So yesterday we talked heavily on the fact that we was in this daily range from this daily lower high. Let me smile that out. From this daily lower high here to this daily lower low. But what we said predominantly about the dollar and every other pair is, we're in this range. But if you guys remember, we have this internal structure that's happening. We have, higher lows, higher high, higher low, higher high. And then this is where we was at yesterday morning. So if you guys remember, we were talking the fact of, was it this one or was it this? I can't remember. Obviously, we're talking yesterday the fact that we had the break up. And then of course we have this here. So the dollar obviously came down into that 4-hour demand, which I can't remember who called it first. I unmuted someone first. I don't know if it was Callum or Michaela, for the dollar, and we talked, predominantly about this candle here, these two candles or this candle here. And as you guys can see, to a T, after creating that higher high and breaking that higher low, where did we come back into? Well, what is the last one or two, but predominantly one, last sell candle that caused the movement up? And as you guys can see, is here. And then we got that breakaway here. So as of right now, we've had this movement backwards and then we're here. So we've got a new daily range at 4-hour range, which we will talk about. But before that, let me just quickly cover the fact that the dollar is predominantly today. We have broke above this last lower high. Obviously, we're still, 14 hours, 50 minutes left of the day. So, of course, we need to see how this daily candle finishes. If the candle finishes above, then it will, be telling us that we could be seeing more bullishness coming in. So, looking at the 4-hour again, you can see that as we just talked about this internal structure that's now brought this high, we are currently between this range here. So this is my range, and this is all I'm interested in as of right now. Is I'm not bothered about what's going on. I'm not drawing support and resistance and da 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 da. You can do, of course. What I'm interested in right now is what's this internal range doing? Where's the last higher low? Where's the last higher high? So as you guys can see, what I've been looking out for myself is from the start of this candle where the imbalance starts to the low of this is where my next 4-hour demand candle is going to be. Again, if you want, you can refine it to this last candle in general and cover this one. But for me personally, I'm going to do this. So pretty simple to understand. What I'm obviously going to be waiting for is the market to do its thing and carry on from here. Unless we obviously get that change of trend, and then we can obviously look to see something else. But as of right now, it only makes sense for me that we're creating that bullishness, we're creating them demand areas, these candles, we need imbalance to fill as well. So that is my predominant thoughts for the US dollar. Let me know, just put a 1 in the chat if that makes sense. Going into Euro USD, Again, we caught an absolute beauty of a trade. I think it's just loading. Yesterday, which actually went on and did. I caught a 1 to 3, but actually went on to do around a 1 to 8, from our zone that we talked about yesterday. So, I didn't hold for 1 to 8. So yeah, let's look at the daily first and foremost, and we can try and see what's going on here. So if you look at what's going on, you can see that when we're looking at this range here, we created a lower high. That failed to go and create a new lower low. So we ended up breaking the structure, creating a higher high, higher low, higher high. So as you guys can see, this is my last daily higher low, and we have obviously come lower than that right now. So I'm thinking obviously supply is in control, and that we could potentially see, of course, the bearishness kick in more. So with that being a potential daily change of trend, if this candle today closes below this low here, then obviously we'll know more. So going down into the 4 hour, what can we see that's happening? Well, pretty simple to understand. You can see that the market is the same as the dollar, but obviously the opposite way, with creating them lower lows, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Had a little pullback here, and then we've created this new lower low. So for me personally, if we're looking at this right now, we still have some imbalance above here. So there's two ways that I would approach this. There's one way that I'd approach it and say, okay, from this range, what is the last buy candle that caused the movement down? Well, this whole area here is the last buy candle that caused the movement down. So you can mark that out as your 4 hour supply if you want to. You can refine it to where the imbalance starts. So let's say this candle here. So that's where I would predominantly look for. I'm going to go from the body here, because we do have this little bit of imbalance, and we might use this as liquidity. So that's one area for supply that I'm interested in. Let me just move this out of the way. And the next area, I'll get rid of that as well. The next area that I'm looking for is either this, or let me just cut this down in half. Look at the 1 hour, or where this consolidation is, this. And maybe you can't, so this whole candle here. But can anyone tell me why this area might be interesting to me? If Michaela, Robbie, or if you guys can let me know why you might think it is. If you can't, don't worry. I'll explain anyway. But if you guys remember what I always say, how do we cause a supply and demand area? Well, what happens a lot of the time is we have consolidation, some sort of manipulation, and then we have the institutional move, the big institutional candle. Oh, so if you look at this right now, even though it's a 4, go back to the 1 hour, same scenario. We're consolidating institutional candle. So what the markets usually like to do is rebalance itself and then make its move again. So, or as we've got this other 4 hour, rebalance itself, take out the highs, and then go. Just put a Y in the chat if that makes sense. So go into the 4. Go into the 4. These are the two areas for the dollar that I am Euro USD that I'm waiting for to basically play out. So let's see what happens today in regards to that. GBP USD, what is going on? A little bit more cleaner, meaning it's still in a bullish range, whereas Euro USD isn't. But if you look at GBP USD from a daily time frame, we are exactly where we've been talking about. If you guys remember, we've been talking about this being our valid daily higher low and our daily higher high, and this is our daily and 4 hour demand candle. Now, as you guys can see, we are currently playing out from there. So we are currently playing out from that candle now. And obviously yesterday we called this 4 hour supply area, which went and did around a 1 to 6. So 1 to 6 yesterday from GBP USD, which is, amazing. And that was on the table for you guys. Okay, so we're in this 4 hour demand. So again, if we're expecting a daily trend to carry on, this is where I'm expecting a daily trend to go and create that new daily higher high and break this higher high. So with that being said, what do we expect the market to do? Well, as we said yesterday, we can see this internal structure, the lower lows, the lower high, the lower low, the lower high, the lower low, lower high, lower low. So as you guys can, see, we do have that internal structure going on. In order for us to be confident in buying, I would be waiting for this area to be broke. So this is my internal range right now. So put a Y in the chat if that makes sense. And as you guys can see, this would be my day 4-hour supply candle. 4-hour supply candle, or you can refine it to this last candle here, where the imbalance started. So that's where I would like to see. Let me just cut this down in half and see if we can see anything better. No, yeah, so yeah, clean. Pretty clean. So what I'd expect the market to do is basically, from here, carry on downwards. If we don't get that and the demand gets in control, then I want to see this level here broke, and then I want to see a retracement to go and create that new daily higher high. So break this current daily higher high and create a new one. Hopefully that makes sense. So GBP USD is very clean, both ways. Very, very, very clean, which is good. Going into, let me get rid of this big ass line. Going into AUD USD, again, as you can see, was a 1 to 3. Yeah, did it on 1 to 3. So what we've done right now, in fact, let me get rid of all this, is beauty of a trade, by the way. But as you can see, we filled in this imbalance, so we can get rid of this now. And we've tapped into the extreme part of the demand. So this is our last, our demand candle, because it's the last sell candle that caused this momentum. But where I always start from a lot of times is where the imbalance starts. So as you guys can see, we are in that 4-hour demand area, and we are slowing down. You can see that the market's slowing down. We're getting wicked, which could tell us that we could get that bullishness, of course, happen to go and break a new higher high. So that is my first thought. So we go to the daily time frame. We go to the daily time frame, you should be able to see, well, we're in this daily candle, but the 4-hour candle is a lot cleaner. So yeah, you can see that this candle yesterday, if you look at where the body finished, we tapped into that demand, and then volume slowed down. We've come in again, and now volume slowed down again. So, that could be telling us that the bullishness might kick in today with AUD USD. So yeah, let's see what happens in regards to that. Of course, I think we have the news at whatever time it is. But yeah, if you look at where we're currently at for this, let's just focus on this area. Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and lower low. So we are currently, in this range here. From this lower high to this lower low. 4 hours not clean. This is a big candle, so I'm going to cut it in half and go to the 2-hour. See if I can see anything better. Straight away, I can see that we have this candle here, where the imbalance started. So that'll be, let's just put 1 hour supply, because if we go to the 1, you guys can see, yeah, pretty easy to understand. So that's where I'm expecting the market to potentially come into. If it was to carry on bearish, let's just go to the 2-hour where it's a little bit more cleaner looking. So again, what I would like to see happen is 1 hour supply, take this out as liquidity, fill in the rest of this imbalance, carry on down. Or of course, if we get this, then we're going to look to, of course, buy up, and demand is in control. So pretty simple to understand. Hopefully you guys watching the YouTube and watching this live can, see that. So let's see how that plays out going into today. NZUSD, let's see what's going on. So NZUSD is in that daily demand area. We've not quite tapped into this 4 hours demand area just yet, so we have still got some wiggle room. But as you guys can see, we are slowing down in this demand. You know, if you look at the daily time frame, you'll be able to notice the same scenario that. Let's just quickly look at this. You can see that this taps into the demand, volume slowed down, we've come in again. Volumes now obviously reversing a little bit. So, you know, NZUSD is not as clean as AUD/USD, for instance. So let's see what happens today. But what I would like to see once this loads is I would like to see how we react from here. I would like to see this level of area broke. Just to be real with you guys, this area level to broke to be looking for buys. If I was to participate in buying, I would want to see this, and then I can look for retracement and then go and create that new daily higher high. From the 4 hour, I don't like the look of anything. If I cut this down to a 2 hour, if I cut this down to the 2 hour, what can I see? Well, let me just look at the one. Well, if we're going off the 2 hour and the 1 hour, I would like to see this area here. I'm going to mark it up here. This whole area here as a 4 hour supply. So what I would like to see happen is with NZUSD, if it was to carry on down, come into this, and then of course make its way down here. Just put a Y in the chat if you guys are flowing and making sense and you understand what I can see, if you don't mind. USD CAD, let's look at what she's doing. Amazing. Okay, USD CAD, let's start off on a daily time frame. So USD CAD is in this daily supply candle, which we've talked about. And if you just have a quick look, you can see this is the daily supply. We're filling this imbalance on this institutional candle, and we are slowing down a little bit. So, you know, let's see what happens going into today. So we're still in this daily range from this lower high to this lower low. Go into the 4 hour. What can we see? Let's see what's going on. Okay, so we're in this daily supply. This was yesterday, by the way, middle of the box. 1 to 3 again. Let me get rid of that. Again, it's not as clean. If I just cut this to the 2, what can we see? A little bit more cleaner or not? 1 second. Come on, come on, come on. Spanish internet. So looking at the trend, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So the range that we're currently in is from this low, which was out of yesterday's demand, and this high. So what am I expecting to see happen? Well, 2 scenarios. Let me just quickly look at the 1 hour. What I would potentially like to see is, even though there's no imbalance, this would be the extreme level of 1 hour demand. Or we could react from this candle here. So these are my 2 areas. This is the closest one, and this would be the extreme one to take out all this liquidity. So either way, if it was to buy from this, it would be from here, or it would be from here, whichever one looks, you know, cleaner. And also understanding that if we fail to obviously break and go higher, then what I'd wait for is to see how we react. If we get that low broke, then we can obviously look to participate in selling this down. So there's two lows that we can break, either this low, or if we break this low, we can potentially look for some sells. Let's see. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's see what happens going into today with USD CAD. And then USD CHF. USD CHF is moving a little bit weird, to be fair. It didn't react on a demand yesterday. But yeah, looking at USD CHF, what can we see? Well, of course, we've come above this lower high on the daily. If you look at the trend happening here, you can see that the market lower high obviously didn't create that much of a lower low, but we did on the 4 here, pull back, lower high, lower low. We come up, should have gone and created a new lower low, failed to do that, pulled back, created a higher low and a higher high. So my range is from this higher low to this higher high on a daily. But I'm also aware that this daily demand candle here does have that imbalance above. Can you guys hopefully see that we do have that imbalance above here as well? But yeah, what I would like to see is this daily demand candle met. This daily demand candle met. Go to the 4 hour. And then we can refine this area to start the imbalance and the bottom of that wick as our 4 hour demand. And yeah, to be fair, that's pretty much all I can see on USD CHF. I'm not looking at any sells unless you can see a lower time frame sell. But either, we're coming to this and we get the reaction to go and create that new higher high. Of course, if you guys are on the lower time frames and you see that shift in momentum like this right now, you can see that the consolidated. If you get a candle closure, 32 minutes left, you can look to sell this into this area potentially, using probably this supply candle here. So if, let's say, the candle finishes below, all, let's say this candle body finishes below all this, you could potentially see this being a 1 hour supply area to see sells from. But again, a bit more of a riskier trade. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm not traded USD Japanese yen. I can have a look just quickly, but I'm not liked the way that USD Japanese yen is looking. Let me have a quick look. Yeah, very bullish. It didn't get a pullback yesterday. If we go to the 4, yeah, I'm going to leave USD Japanese yen just for today because of how bullish that is. And I don't like the look of it. I think they've got better setups going into the rest of today. So yeah, man, let me just pause the video here for the guys that watch on YouTube. I appreciate you so much. As always, thank you for continuing the support over on the YouTube, and I will be uploading these pretty much every single day. So I'm excited to give you guys the value that you guys need. So yeah, man, if anyone has any interest at all on the YouTube, comment down below. I can obviously drop you guys a message or follow me on Instagram, which is @coached_by_chambers. Be aware that there is many like fake accounts out there. I will never message you to ask you to send money, so just be very, very careful of that. Other than that, guys, obviously we will catch up next tomorrow.